Okay, ladies, you're not here tonight today. It's okay. Yesterday was Mother's Day. All right, but we're gonna go ahead and do a session today and record it for you guys because I don't want to get too far behind. All right, so on your syllabus, I revamped it and I made Monday instead of Sunday, which should have been Thursday. So it's all that. I do want to make sure that everybody remembers that Saturday we're having our dinner at 6:30 p.m. And I hope you guys will get together on your project, which is doing the 30th, your news team project.
The what
All right.
project?
Your news team.
Is that in the classroom?
No, that's what you three are going to be a news reporters, and you're going to make a news report. You ever heard about that?
No.
Okay, you must have missed. Okay, so look on your syllabus. Then at the bottom of the syllabus is going to tell you everything. And so one of you guys is going to be the meteorologist. One of you going to be the sports person. One of you going to be the anchor, and you're gonna coordinate together and give me one news report. And so you guys need to get together because you'll be graded on how it flows, how you talk to each other, how you pass from one person to the next, and make it have the flow of it is very important. So it's going to show whether you guys spend any time with each other. All right. And yeah. So y'all should have met by now. Y'all better get with it. Y'all better get on it. All right, because one way for everybody. All right. So and it's at the bottom of your syllabus. You'll see it way down the bottom. Okay, so in chapter 6, okay, you guys your test. Everybody did, or Jennifer did very well, but everybody did, or I saw a lot of things I was concerned about, and I'll wait till everybody get back before I put the test out and go back over some things. I'll make sure everybody is clear on some things before we go forward. All right. So today we need to go talk about superlatives. Superlatives with the superlative. We have comparative and we have superlatives. Comparatives, you're comparing two things, like when something's more than that or less than that. Well, there's another degree of quality. You can have a degree, the highest degree of quality or the lowest degree of quality. The highest, that's all called superlative. The best or the worst. Or you have the best score, you have the worst score. Things of that nature. And it's on page 195 in your textbook. And it starts off saying that the superlative statement expresses the highest or lowest degree of quality. For example, the most, the greatest, the least, or the worst. How do you do that in Spanish? Well, it's really easy. You're going to use your definite article. You're going to use the word más or menos, whether it's more or less. And you're going to use the word de, or after the adjectives. For example, they give you an example. It says, este restaurante es el más elegante de la ciudad. This restaurant is the most elegant in the city. El más elegante de la ciudad. The second one says, estas tortas son las menos caras de todas. These cakes are the least expensive of all. Note that when you say el más, el was referring to restaurante. When it said estas tortas son las again, las menos, that las refers to tortas. So that's where the el comes from and the las comes from, depending on what your object is. Then, of course, your adjective must agree with the your adjective must agree with the noun. On page 196, it goes to talk about when a noun is used with the superlative, the article precedes the noun in Spanish. For example, la langosta es el marisco más caro que venden aquí. Lobster is the most expensive shellfish they sell here. El marisco, shellfish, el marisco más caro que venden aquí. But la cocina concha es el café más popular del barrio, or it could have been el café menos popular del barrio. Adjectives and adverbs that have irregular forms in the comparative use the same irregular forms in the superlative. Pepe es el mejor de camareros. Pepe is the best of the waiters. El mejor de los camareros. La tía Isabel es la mayor de mis tías. So what do they talk about when they say irregular forms? Well, mejor and mayor are irregular forms. When you start comparing the levels, the word changes. You say the best, you're either the best or the worst, but mejor changes to peor. Mayor, the oldest, and you got menor. There's different words. The word changes totally. So that's why they call it irregular. And that's it to the superlative. Superlative's not much to it. Just knowing how to form it, knowing the construction of how to say el más, whatever, or menos de, or la más, whatever, or la menos de, or whatever the case may be. So we're not gonna spend much time on that. But the main thing we're talking about today is these double object pronouns. And I'm concerned because I want to make sure that you guys are well versed with your regular pronoun, your regular object pronouns, so direct and your indirect. So we got direct object pronouns and we have indirect object pronouns. One thing I know is that my direct object pronouns and my indirect object pronouns, there's no difference in the spelling. Only in the third person. Only in the third person. So for direct, the third person is lo or la. For indirect, it's le. For direct plural, it's los or las. And for indirect plural, it's les. So I need to know that. But the rest of them are me, te, and nos. They're the same on both sides, on the direct object pronouns and indirect object pronouns. So then it comes to, well, when do you use what? When do I use my direct object pronouns? Or when do I use my indirect object pronouns? Well, pronouns replace nouns. So if the noun is a direct object, it's the direct object of the verb, then the pronoun should be a direct object pronoun. If this noun is the indirect object pronoun of the verb, then my pronoun should be the indirect object pronoun. But what does all that mean? Well, I know that my direct object answers the question what behind the verb. I like soda. I like what? Soda. Soda is direct object. Well, how would I change that to a pronoun? Well, soda will be it. And I have to change it accordingly. Now, the indirect object pronouns answer the question to or for whom after the verb. To or for whom. I got to know the difference. Direct answers the question what or who behind the verb. My indirect says to or for whom after the verb. That's the difference. All right. So once I got that down pat, then here we come now into the chapter where they talk about double object pronouns. So what are they talking about? Well, there are times where you're going to have both pronouns in your phrase. Give me it. Tell them it. I gave it to her. That is all double object pronouns because you have direct and indirect in the same clause. So what is it about in Spanish? Well, so we know the pronouns. So why it's the conversation? Well, there are a few rules I need to know. There's one I really need to know. First of all, third persons. The le is indirect and the lo and la is direct. And if you look on the page 197 and down the bottom, you'll see this chart I'm talking about. It's a reason why they have indirect object pronouns listed first, and direct object pronouns listed second. Whenever you have both pronouns in a clause, indirect comes first, direct comes second. That's just the way it is. So that is just the way it is. So if I want to say, give it to him, give it to him, the to him will come first. The to him will be your indirect object. So da, le, and then I'm gonna say the it, lo. Da, le, lo. Well, have you ever heard anyone in Spanish say lelo? Have you ever heard in any of your work anything that sounds like lelo? You have not. Because they do not say lelo in Spanish. Whenever, and this is another rule we learned, whenever you have on the third person line, le, lo, and la, side by side, le will change to se. And that's what you see in your chart. You see a little arrow from le, change to se. If you have that first and your next pronoun is going to be lo or la, you don't do le lo and le la. You don't do that. This is a no-no. It's going to turn to se lo and se la automatically. Same thing in the plural. We don't say les las. It don't sound right in Spanish. It's going to change to celas or celos. So, dáselo, give him it. Or dásela, give him it. Dáselos, give him them. That's how it goes. So we know that le and lace change to say if the next letter begins, next word begins with an L. That's what we know. It's no two L's side by side. And we know that indirect object pronouns come first. Now, let's take a better look at this. So it says, at the first block, it says, when both a direct and an indirect object pronoun are used together in a sentence, they are usually placed before the verb, and the indirect object pronoun precedes the direct object pronoun. So we already know that we're gonna put our object pronouns in front of the verb. We already know this already. We used to also saying that we can add it to the infinitive. But we can, when you have two objects together, let's get it out. Yeah. We don't see them saying the infinitive here because I don't think you want to do that. We don't add it to, we don't attach a double object pronoun to infinitives. All right. They got sentences like la camarera le trae el menú, or la camarera les trae el menú. Then I want to say the waitress is bringing it to you, or to him, or to her, or to him. La camarera se lo trae. Se lo trae. Sounds a little confusing, I know, because these are pronouns they look confusing, but it's really not. If you really get down packed what the direct object pronoun is, what the indirect object pronoun is, and what they mean, I mean, when to use them, this is not going to be hard at all. Because all you're doing is putting together two pronouns, indirect first, and you attach them together. And we do the same thing in English. We don't write them together, of course, but yeah, we do the same thing in English. On page 198, it says, as with the single. Okay, so you do put it on an infinitive. You can't do that. Yeah. Okay, so it says, as with the single object pronouns, the double object pronouns may be attached to the infinitive or the present participle. In both cases, the order of the pronouns is maintained and an accent mark is added to the stress vowel on the verb. Señorita, ¿puede traerme un vaso de agua? Can you bring me a glass of water? En un segundo, voy a traérselo. Yeah, of course. I'm going to bring you it. I'll bring you it. That's what they're saying here. ¿Nos está preparando la paella el cocinero? Sí, está preparándonosla. So, you see the long words here, preparándonosla. They are saying preparing us it, or as we say it correctly, preparing it for us. So note that here they're saying that you can also add it onto your present, to your participle, which is the ando and the endo.
Do people usually say it like that?
Yes. Yo voy a dártelo. I'm going to bring it to you. Yeah, definitely. But you see, they're showing you more the celo and the cela right now. They're showing you more the tricky one, because you got to remember that it's not going to be lelo and lela. It's going to be celo and cela. But yes, preparándonosla. Está preparándonosla. Or it could be sí, nos la está preparando. Nos la está preparando. It sounds better to me to say está preparándonosla than to say nos la está preparando. Either way you want to say it is correct. All right. So that in a nutshell is what we had to talk about today. And I'm not gonna drive it home. We're gonna work on this before we move any further. We're gonna work on this these double out pronouns. I will have, since the ladies didn't come today, I will have a nice little exercise ready for us on Thursday when we come back. We were to do application 618. Let me see if I want to do that. No, we're not gonna do that since they're not here. And then quantum type is 200. No, we're gonna say that when we come back. So pretty much, yeah, we're gonna conclude here. But what I want to leave you with is that now we're talking about double out pronouns, the double being the indirect and the direct. I need to know that the indirect comes first. I need to know that if it's third person on both pronouns, there's no lelo, lela, none of that stuff. It's a celo, cela, celos, and celas. I also need to know that those same pronouns follow the same position as they were singular. In front of the conjugated verb, add on to an infinitive, add on to a participle. Any questions?
No questions.
So you ain't saying that now, but wait till test time. You're gonna be like, oh.
I mean, probably. It's just I have to find a way to wrap my head around. Yeah.
Okay, so start with the go back to the definite articles, to definite article pronouns, excuse me, definite article pronouns, to the definite object pronouns and the indefinite object. Go back to the beginning of the object pronouns and get those two things down first, because all this stuff's adding on to it. And we're going to stop here anyway. We're going to stop here for a while because I want to make sure you guys get these pronouns down before we go any further, because this is a must. It's a must that you get the pronouns together, the direct and indirect object pronouns. It's a must. They use them all the time. So it's not we're gonna take lightly. We're gonna master this, and I'm gonna when we come back Thursday, we're gonna be working strictly on this. So I gotta find a nice little exercise for y'all. All right, so yeah. Now, what I do want you guys to do, I do want you to go ahead and try to write your homework assignment. It says create 10 sentences using double object pronouns. Try to create 10 sentences using them. And it also says read over En la Cocina, page 202. Yes, read over that. It says Sunday on the paper, but it should be Thursday. We'll read it and translate it. So go ahead and read. Your words will start getting more complex. So I want you to start reading more. All right, that's gonna be it. But create 10 sentences. And I'm gonna send y'all a message I'm gonna send you a message on your phones. So you're not gonna forget this one. Create 10 sentences using double object pronouns. All right.
Double objects.
It's on your syllabus.
All right. I will be working Saturday, so I don't think I'll be at the dinner.
You gonna be at the dinner Saturday? Okay. Yeah. Try make sure you at the graduation next. It's not next Thursday. Next Thursday, not the 20th. On the 27th.
27th?
Thursday.
Okay.
It's doing conversation class, so it's gonna be a good graduation. You won't miss that one.
I will block that off in my calendar.
Okay, yep. The 27th at 7. I keep saying 7 o'clock and I keep saying 7:30. I don't know what time, but it's gonna be at 7. I should just make it conversation class time. 7:30. 7:30 is time. It's a conversation class. I'm not gonna change that. 7:30. And send a message to your comrades and ask them why y'all haven't got together yet for your project. Because I'm gonna grade you. I'm literally gonna grade you very hard on how y'all laugh with each other and like a news broadcast. You know, and you can't. I told them too. You can't sit there and just read the paper either. You can read the paper, whatever you got written down for your report. You can read it, but you got to look up too. I had the last class was. I mean, somebody was just like this and reading, and when they lift their head up, that's why they got the bad grade. So, you know, you got to be familiar with whatever you talk about.
All right.
And that's all we're gonna do today, Alexander. We're gonna cut it short today. And I will see you in conversation class. Yeah, I'll see you in conversation class if you're gonna make it.
Yeah, I'll be there. I'll see you there.
All right, buddy.